Hi, and welcome to Anne's Craft Room, where life is too short, so get out those craft supplies. Try something new and make something beautiful just for you. Hi, welcome to my craft room again. I know I haven't been doing very many videos lately. I was sick for a while, and then I went to a couple of crops, and I haven't figured out how to do any filming while I'm at crops, but my husband just ordered me a new tripod stand that will fit my phone, and so I'm hoping that I can figure out how I can do some videos while I'm at the crops and figure out how to do some voiceovers on those. So it's going to be a learning process for sure. But I am going to go through some layout shares that I did. This first batch I did at a February crop, and a lot of it was layouts that we could buy while we were at monthly crops, and then I just tweak them a little bit to make them my own. So let me go ahead and show them to you. So this is my first layout, and it was the theme of the crop was Wild West, and this title over here came with the layout. I added this title. I added the border down here, and I added the horse over here, and then she had a cactus, but I changed up the cactus to this one. So this is that layout. I really like the way it turned out. So this is another layout that I bought, and I really like it. The theme for the crop was Charlie Brown. So this came with the layout. The title came with the layout. This border came with it. And then I added this down here, this down here. I added my little birdie over here. And then I punched out a bunch of hearts and added them. And I punched out these splatters and then added glossy accents to it. And so that, I think it turned out really good. I really like the way I do the glossy accents, and I just use leftover scrap paper from whatever I'm working on. So here's another layout from one of the crops that I go to. The theme of this one was Tea Party, and I added the border down here, and I added the bunnies on here and the cup on here. She had this weaving thing that we did, which I've never weaved paper before, so that was definitely interesting. But then I added that teacup and the bunnies on top of that. She had these flowers in there, and I just added the glossy accents to them. Actually, no, the flowers were not in there. The flowers came from the center of the teacups. And so I just used them as embellishments to go along with it. And then added glossy accents to it to make them pop. So this was another layout from another crop. It was Siesta La Vie was the theme, and I think the only thing I added was all the hearts, and I put little shimmer pens on some of the hearts to make them shine, and I added this over here. Other than that, it was all her layout. I did round the corners on my mats. She only provided the one mat, and I added the second so I could double mat everything. And then I use a special corner rounder to round my corners. So this was one that I just put together. I can't remember where I got the sketch from or the idea from, but I got it from somewhere. But this is all items that when I was in Michigan, I did before and afters. I like to do a lot of thrifting when I was first putting up my craft room. So I learned how to sand things down and repaint them. And I really liked the way they turned out. I wish I had brought them with me when I moved, but I was trying to conserve packing space. Moving from Michigan to Tennessee, I just figured I could replace them. I wish I would have brought them with me now, but maybe I'll find some more at some thrift stores and redo them again. So here's one of the things I thrifted. I got it for like $10 at a garage sale, and this is how I ended up with it. I loved it for my Cricut. And then this I got at a yard sale for $5, and it held 8.5 by 11 paper. There was 9 drawers. This is how I did it afterwards, and you can't tell it very good in the pictures, but all of my handles were color coded, and I put scrap paper in there, and that way I could go to that drawer and pick through the scrap paper of what color I needed. And also my granddaughter knew when she was in my craft room that she could play with any of the paper that was in my scrap drawers. And then this was another one that I got like $5, and this is how I turned it into, and I loved it. And then these were just plastic drawers that I bought at Walmart, and I just painted them and put paper in the front of them to make it match my decor. So this is from a sketch on Megan and Tessa's Power Hour. Megan Jacks, Tessa Chapel. I watch their Power Hours every month. I don't always do all their layouts, but I do watch it every month. And I use the flip flaps to put the Polaroid pictures in. I didn't do them to flip them. I just wanted to protect the pictures and still use them in my layout, so I put them in those. So there's that one that I did. These are old pictures of my mom and dad's cabin at the lake. So this is another sketch from the Megan Tessa Power Hour, and I really like the triangle aspect of it on the edge. The only thing I did is I did some stitching, and it was the first time I've ever done stitching, and I'll do it again, but I definitely need to get my lines a little bit straighter. And then I also did I use a hole puncher and punch a bunch of circles out for my enamel dots, as you would say, and then added my glossy accents to them, and then punch out the flowers and the butterflies with little punches just to add the little details in there. And then I cut this out. I drew this and cut it with my Cricut. I also do most of my journaling with my Cricut. So these sketches came from the Creative Memories virtual crop that they put out every month, and this is from the March crop. And this was actually 2 single page sketches, and I just combined them to make one double page layout. Well, sort of. I used the same papers, but they are 2 different layouts. They'll go good next to each other though. I cut out my kangaroos on the Cricut, and I cut out my title there on the Cricut. I punched out some splats and covered them with liquid gloss, or not liquid glass, but glossy accents. Used to be, when it was close to my heart, it was liquid glass. Now it's glossy accents that you buy at Hobby Lobby. And then I have these wooden hearts that I got from Close to My Heart a long time ago, and I cut out my title with the Cricut, and I did my journaling with the Cricut. So this is another layout from the Creative Memories Virtual Crop, and it has the banner going across here and the banner coming down. I added the title with my Cricut, and then I cut all these little banner fishtail pieces and added the name of the animal next to it. Because we had taken my granddaughter to the Nashville Zoo when she was down here to visit. I also used my Creative Memories trimmer, one of the decorative blades, to cut that. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's a little decorative edge, and I love my Creative Memories trimmer and all my decorative blades. Just love it. So here's another Creative Memories virtual crop sketch. And then I added this with the Cricut, the little flamingo, and life is all about balance. And then I cut this out with the Cricut, my little red panda. And my granddaughter was so thrilled that at that time, the movie Red One was still her favorite movie, and so she got to see a real live red panda. She was thrilled with that. So here's another layout. Didn't come from any sketches, but I saw it posted in a group, Creative Chaos in Tennessee. Shannon Keith runs it, but Grandma Barnes did a description of how to do it, and so I really wanted to try it. I love the 4x4 papers and doing that little pinwheel. And then I added this with one of my border maker cartridges from Creative Memories. And then I added these flowers from a die. Cut my titles from my Cricut. I kind of go all over the place when I do things. I use Creative Memories border maker cartridges a lot. I use a lot of dies. I use my Cricut a lot. Always use my Creative Memories trimmer. I always use my powder puff tool from Creative Memories for when I use stickers. I'm all over the place. And I love it. But I love the fact that I was able to take two larger photos and display them this way. I think I'll be doing this one again. So those were all my layouts that I did in February and March. I'm hoping to figure out how to do voiceovers so I can do some videos while I'm at the crops, while I'm making these. I know it's going to be a learning process, so we'll see how it goes. But thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Please like and subscribe, as I'm still trying to build my channel up. I think I'm at 100 people now, but don't quote me on that. Thank you, and have a wonderful, blessed day. Thank you for watching till the end. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up, and then hit the subscribe button to see my future videos. Thank you, and have a great day.